Astro's Playroom is a launch game that comes bundled with the PS5. It's a cute and fun journey through PlayStation history, plus demonstrates the capabilities of the PlayStation 5 Dualsense controller absolutely perfectly. There's a feel-good factor here, so much so that you might be fooled into thinking that Nintendo themselves made it. So Astro has previously been on adventures in PSVR, however this time it's his job to show what the PS5 can do. Astro previously starred in Astro Bot Rescue Mission, and at first there were eyebrows raised as to why Astro was coming out of VR and back onto the flat screen. Well, fears can be put away because this is a fantastic platformer in its own right, with personality, graphics, audio and a dose of nostalgia too. Astro has so much character in his own right, he's almost plucked straight from a Pixar movie. He's expressive, his smile and his eyes, they're full of life, and if you leave him alone for a little while, he'll even start waving. He's charming and it's easy to fall in love with the little guy from the start. Sony's history is plastered all over Astro's Playroom, and it feels like a massive celebration of the last 25 years of Sony's achievements since the original PlayStation. Astro plays with a PS Vita if you leave him for a few minutes, and the worlds themselves are styled on PlayStation generations. There's a bunch of PlayStation collectibles to be found in each world, so if you've grown up through the PlayStation generations, there's going to be plenty here for you. And if you're a younger player and this is your first experience, then you'll likely be dazzled by the graphics and the new controller, but there's plenty in here for older audiences too. And I've already compared this game to something Nintendo or Pixar would be proud of, and for good reason. First of all, the platforming feels great in its own right, with Astro being very responsive and feeling really good. Perhaps due to the success of the DualSense controller, ice skating has never been more fun. The feeling of Astro jumping, flying through the air and landing feels great, and is up there with any great 3D platformer from the last 10 years. The game, in essence, is a showcase of the PlayStation DualSense controller. As you platform and navigate your way through different areas of the game, you're going to feel the environment right in your hand. Whether you're walking around on sand or grass or skating on ice, you can just feel Astro in your hand. It's something that's hard to convey through reviews and YouTube videos, but if you get the chance to experience this haptic feedback, then it's definitely very much worthwhile. It will be interesting to see over time how many other developers work this tech into their games. No doubt Sony Studios will be using the adaptive triggers and haptic feedback in their flagship titles like God of War Ragnarok, Ratchet & Clank and Horizon Forbidden West. So a particular highlight of the DualSense is using the touchpad to zip something up early on in the game, where you can feel every tooth of the zip as it climbs. It's an amazing feeling. You can almost compare the feeling of the DualSense to the first time you try a VR headset. It's really impressive and everyone should seek out the experience to at least try once. As well as the haptic feedback, there's also the triggers to contend with related to the DualSense controller, so Team Asobi have done a great job with the controller. It's probably worth noting at this point that this is a team who creates the hardware for Sony, so they've been directly involved with the design and the build of the controller itself. So as well as creating amazing VR and platform experiences, they're also a genius team when it comes to making hardware. The DualSense is perhaps the differentiator that may decide purchases between the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X. In the previous generation, there wasn't really much to split them, but this time round we got the controller. So when Sony first came out and mentioned they were investing in something called haptic feedback, I think many thought it would be a gimmick and perhaps something just like HD Rumble. But this feels different, quite literally. Now, it's a great feature and could be the deciding factor for many. Astro's Playroom is a great showcase for the PlayStation 5, and it's one of the best bundled games that comes with the system I've ever seen, and it's really heartwarming. It's a fun introduction to your brand new console generation, and this one may have flown under the radar with other big hitters like Demon's Souls and Spider-Man Miles Morales. They may have been stealing the headlines, but this one is really worth your time and attention. So you'll come for the DualSense demo, but Astro will more likely charm you into staying to hang out with him and his friends. So the developer was Sony Japan Studio and Team Asobi. The platform is PlayStation 5, and it was originally released on the 19th of November 2020.